NBA 2K23 MyTEAM is said to be at its lowest point of the entire year since the release of the latest season, Season 4 Lunar New Year, with the biggest issue being that most players feel like they no longer have anything to grind for since completing the trophy case and also already having the mode's best cars that they have to offer up until this point, with no new rewards in sight for the most part. So today we'll be discussing a proposal that I have for the mode's first ever organized 3v3 league using TTO co-op. If you're new, be sure to subscribe. Also, follow me on Twitch, whoislb. My link will be at the top of the description. That's my primary platform. I stream there pretty regularly. If you ever want to come through and just talk basketball, talk my team, or just talk or hang out in general, you can always find me there. Like I said, I'll put that at the top of the description. And that's pretty much it. Let's get right into it. Roll the intro.
Flex with all this cake, just so you can know. So different, it's just like I paint when I fucking flow. We on his ass. He started acting dumb, so bro, them took him back to class. I'm painting symbols like I'm back in school playing the brass. Oh yeah, nigga. Look, it was either me or you. Praying to God, I hope them prayers coming through.
What's good, YouTube? If you don't know who, then we don't know you. It's the one and only LB. And I am back with another video. Now today, you already heard it. I'm gonna be telling you the details of an organized 3v3 league that I have I've come up with, along with the help of two of my guys, my boy Eli and my boy Faye. Shout out to them. We're just gonna be discussing the details of that and hopefully starting something that could carry us through the rest of this year, because it is looking kind of stale for my team. The community has not been very happy about it. I'm sure you've seen it. If you haven't, then it's not looking great. Now let's just discuss my team in general for a second. Now, if you've been keeping up with it up until this point, it started off looking pretty good, but it's kind of gone on a decline with getting less and less rewards and just seeing less and less that we're getting out of it, with, like I said, trophy case being at the forefront of that and just kind of draining the life out of the mode and out of the people that are playing it, because it's such a long grind and they've done so many things wrong with the execution of the trophy case. It was a general good idea, but the execution was very, very poor. They've tried to recover along the way and done some good things with it over the time, but in general, it's just been a complete mess. It sucked the life out of the entire mode, and at this point, people are just drained and hoping for something that will just revitalize the mode and give some new life and new energy into the mode. The only thing that's carrying the mode right now is the few good rewards that are in it, as far as like the season 4 level 40 reward, Zach Levine. There is a Lunar New Year event going on right now that some people are excited about. A lot of people aren't. Some people have said they're not even trying it, they're not even doing it, they're not even wasting their time. There's some issues with that as well, with in what ways you have to earn cards and so on and so forth. And then there's also obviously the giant 250k tournament that some people are still trying to compete in. There's one more qualifier left on February 18th, but after that, we're pretty dependent on 2K releasing a fair amount of content, enough new content, enough fresh content that keeps us wanting to come back and play the mode. So like I said, with all that said, I sat down with my guys and we came up with an idea of something that's just new, something fresh, and something that could potentially change our perspective on what is the mode of my team at the moment. Like I said, most of that comes from just being, I come from Park, so I play a lot of 3v3, not anymore, since Park has kind of fallen off the cliff as well, but that's a whole nother thing. But I've had a ton of fun playing TTO co-op. I've had the most fun playing that mode by far. My favorite modes to play are limited, and unlimited started to grow on me as well, but at first it was TTO online, but even that it's not as fun to me anymore because the rewards in it are just, they're not great. I can literally go on a 10-0 run and come out of that run with 2,000 MT, 20 tokens or something. Like, what is that? I never see takeover players pop up on that board ever. So TCO co-op, if you've played it at all, you know that the rewards in there, I feel like, are some of the best as far as time spent and how much you'll get out, how frequently you get something out. You've got a whole ladder of rewards that include a decent amount of tokens after, very, very little wins, MT, there used to be trophy case packs. They've been taken out now because that concept has changed and whatnot. There's players in there now. There's Hall of Fame badges. There's diamond shoe packs, and the mode is generally very rewarding. And like I said, just in general, it's been a ton of fun being able to play that mode with guys that I enjoy playing the game with, or sharing the experience of the game with. So kudos to 2K for implementing that game mode to where you can play alongside guys that you like to play with, and taking it a step further, I've realized that you can use that mode to play against other people as well. So I again sat down and we came up with this idea to create an entire league off of this, the same way that they do pro-am leagues, you know, where you have an organized team of 6 or 7 guys and you guys go out there and you compete against other teams of 6 or 7 guys. It's gonna have a season format that's about 6 weeks long. I'm hoping to get about 20 to 30 teams of 3 total on both consoles, by the way, and just have a lot of fun with it. It'll like I said, it'll mimic what a pro-am league or even the NBA league and seasons look like as well. You know, game days on certain days, certain amount of games per week, 6 weeks long on the schedule, an all-star tournament, because I mean in 3v3 you can't really do an all-star game. It would only be 6 people, so an all-star tournament, you know, as well, and then season rewards at the end of the season, playoffs at the end of the season, and then crown a champion at the end of the season, and cash prizes all throughout. So we'll get more into it as we go along, but that's what the general premise of what I'm bringing to the table right now, and I'm hoping that the community has the positive feedback that I'm hoping for. And again, that I've asked a few people, and TTO co-op seems to be a very popular mode amongst some people. I've seen people that have 800, 900 games played in TTO co-op. So it seems to be a very popular mode, so why not expand on that? And I don't know that 2K is ever planning to do something like that and expand on TTO co-op, when obviously that opportunity could be there, because like I said, you have organized leagues in the My Career side, the Park side, the Pro-Am side. You have organized leagues there. You have the professional league, the 2K league. So you know, what else do we have for my team? We just have, you know, your online and offline play. You know, you play unlimited, you get rewards, you beat people, and you collect cards. Other than that, the only real competition or fun that you can expect to consistently come back to if you're somebody that likes to compete is this 250K. You know, and like I said, there's only one qualifier left. So, I mean, the spots are slim pickings. You know, there's one qualifier left. There's limited spots in that, and then once that qualifier is over, that tournament is set in stone. And once the tournament happens and is over with, it's over with. So what else do we have? So this is something that we can start now. We can do on the side of the tournament. It's independent from the 250K tournament. It's even independent of other community organized events like Jazz's community is his content creator tournament that he's got going on this weekend on Sunday. Shout out to everybody that's in that. Shout out Jazz for that organized tournament, that content creator guy. But it's even independent of all that. It's something that we can start now and continue going throughout the year, and it has nothing to do with how good or bad the content or rewards are that 2K implement into the mode throughout the remainder of the year, remainder of the season. It's something that's totally separate from that. And again, if it's something that it gets enough positive reception and has enough people on board that are willing to make it something that it could be very, very big, very, very, very big. So we'll get into the specific details right now, and then we'll see how you guys feel. You guys let me know in the comments how you feel, and if you're interested, and if there's, you know, any things that you would like to see, any tweaks or changes, I would love to hear that and discuss that. But we'll give you all the details right now. So as I said before, the league is going to be 3v3, so each team will have 3 players each. The league should be fairly inexpensive to get into. I'm thinking either a $15 entry fee or a $30 entry fee. That's kind of dependent upon the reception of the community, what the community is comfortable with paying to get in. But this is something that's going to be funded right out of my own pocket, unless I get some generous people to come along that are willing to donate or sponsor this. But this is going to come right out of my pocket, and so it has to be something that isn't as taxing on my budget and whatnot. But $15 or $30 per team, which can be divided amongst the three. So that's $5 to $10 per person, which should be very feasible, especially for, you know, people that are ripping packs regularly and whatnot. And again, if it's something that the community is just not into, then we can kind of discuss it and see what's going to be the best and what's just going to make it the most fun for everybody to get involved. Now, as far as the schedule goes, I'm thinking we have games pretty much every day during the week. The only days that would be off the schedule for the league would be Sundays, to give people a day on the weekends and stuff to rest, or just be freely able to do whatever they need to do or want to do in the mode, or just in life in general outside of the game. And also Fridays would be another day where there would be no games, because those are pack drop days 100%, unless 2K ends up changing that. But as it stands now, Fridays are pack drop days, so leave that day open for people to rip packs and, you know, just soak in the new content and stuff like that. And that leaves Monday through Thursday and then Saturdays. I'm thinking, since it's 2 consoles, have it to where it's spread out to where there's games going on every one of those days, but not both consoles at the same time. So I'm thinking Mondays, Wednesdays for PlayStation, Tuesdays and Thursdays for Xbox, and then Saturdays will be the only day where it's both consoles. Saturday is usually a free day for most people, so that's the only day on the schedule that we could probably squeeze in more games and more content and stuff like that, for people to be able to just soak in what's going in, what's happening around the league and stuff like that. And like I said, a bigger opportunity for just people to get involved, because typically the weekends are the freest times that we have in general. Now, each individual game day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, each individual game day, I'm thinking it will have about 2 or 3 games. And I say games loosely because this is 3v3 to 21. Those games, if you've ever played that, it takes about 5 minutes, 7 minutes, maybe 10 max if it's a tough game, a challenging game. But those games take a very short amount of time. So I'm thinking all the games would be a series style, best of 3, 2 to 3 matchups or games per game day. So 3 game days a week, 2 to 3 series per day, and then that would equal out to 2, 4, 6 minimum, or 3, 6, 9 maximum. You know, if we're doing 2 to 3 series, 9 maximum series per week, and then at the end of each week, it would be that's how many games get added to the standings and whatnot, and the records and stuff for every team in the league. And then, like I said, the All-Star tournament would be around the 4th week. It's a 6-week long season. That would be around the 4th week, and then the playoffs would be at the conclusion of the season, which would be at the end of season 6. Now, each game during the season will have to be scheduled. It'll have to be scheduled amongst both team leaders or team owners, team captains, whatever we want to call it. Those will have to be discussed by them. But ahead of the start of the season, as people get signed up and as the whole league gets lined out, myself or somebody else that would like to take part in that, or maybe just myself, I will line out the schedule for the entire season, so you know what matchups you have on each day. The only question mark will be the time. The time is up to you to discuss, and then it'll have to be confirmed with, you know, the management of the league. But the games will need to be played on each day that is lined out on the schedule that's predetermined before the season even starts. Now, the league will have its own set of rules. Of course, we have to have certain rules and restrictions in place to make sure that things run smoothly, and it's just a place where we can run games effectively and people still have the ability to compete and also have fun. So the first rule that we have as it stands currently is that dark matters will not be allowed. There is only 3 of them in the game, being Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, and Julius Erving, but these are some of the best cards in the game. I mean, minus Larry Bird, depending on who you talk to, but he's still a trophy case player. He's still a player that has very good stats and badges, with the ability to get every single badge in the game, along with the other 2 as well. Trophy case players can get every badge in the game. Some cards that we have that come out in packs, we know. If you don't know, I'll explain it to you. They come with certain things capped and nerfed, just to make sure that there's a balance in the game. And these cards are not like that. They can get every single badge. They can get Anchor, they can get Limitless, they can get Asian 3s, they can get all of that. They can get it at the highest level. Some other cards will come with those things nerfed or with the inability to even get those badges at all. So dark matters will not be allowed at the start of the first season. I think that's a unanimous thing that we can agree on. That should be okay for the time being. It's something that could be subject to change later on as we start to get dark matters out of packs and or even as other reward cards through other things in the game mode. But for the time being, dark matters will not be allowed. The second rule will be that you cannot run double bigs, and by that we mean any card that has its primary or secondary position listed as center, you cannot run two of those. So for example, you cannot run Paolo, not Paolo. Take that back, not Paolo. You cannot run Anthony Davis and Alonzo Mourning in the same lineup. Alonzo Mourning is listed as a primary center. Anthony Davis is a primary power forward. You cannot run them both in the same lineup, but you could potentially run Tim Thomas and Anthony Davis because Tim Thomas is listed as a small forward secondary. Now he is tall like a power forward or a big, but he moves and handles the ball like a forward. So that we will allow, and we know that there's also other cards in the game that are listed as primary power forwards, but they're really small forwards, like maybe like a Jeremy Grant or a Royce O'Neal or something like that. Those guys are undersized at power forward and whatnot, so those are okay. Any card that's listed as power forward but it's a small forward is okay to run with a true big man. So that is rule number 2. Now the other rules that come with all of that will be that gem tiers will be they'll be tiered, right, with a point value. So Galaxy Opal will be the highest tier since dark matters will not be allowed. Galaxy Opals will be the highest tier, and we'll extend the tiers and the point values as low as rubies. So Galaxy Opal will be a point value of 5, pink diamonds will be 4, diamonds will be 3, amethyst will be 2, and rubies will be 1. And we are thinking 12 point max on your point spread that you can allot to your lineup. So you could potentially run a pink diamond at 4 points, and then you have 8 points left to spend. You could run 2 more pink diamonds, you can run an opal, and then you can run an amethyst on top of that. Just whatever gets you to the point total of 12, that is the maximum, that's the cap, and that is what's going to help keep it balanced for the time being. Again, that's another thing that is subject to change as the season goes along and we get new cards and the amount of opals and dark matters and whatnot starts to change within the game mode. But as it stands now, 12 point cap on the totals. Gem tier starting from Galaxy Opal all the way down to Ruby, going from point values from 5 to 1. Last couple rules are going to be that lineups will be locked prior to games. Like once you submit who your team is, you'll have to submit what cards each player is running on your lineup, and if that's going to change, it has to be done at a certain amount of time before your games and stuff are scheduled, and then that will have to be approved by a manager or somebody of administration status in the league. And then we can also spread that information out to the rest of the league, so the league is aware that your lineup is now different, and so when they play you, they can prepare for who you are going to be running. And then the last rule would be after each game and after each series, screenshots of box scores will have to be sent so we can verify who won and keep up with stat totals and stuff like that, and just be able to effectively track games and stats throughout the league for each team and each player. Last thing we'll discuss regarding the league is going to be season awards and prizes and stuff like that. As I discussed before, there will be an all-star tournament about for the 4th week of the season. That will be something that gets voted on by the community, probably not the league players itself, but the outer community, the rest of the people that are not competing in the league, probably through Twitter or something of the sort, and have just people vote on just who they want to see in the all-star tournament. Like I said, as the season goes along, we'll keep up with people's stats and stuff like that, so people will be informed about who's averaging what and who's looking the best on paper, as well as being able to tune into the games, because it will be required that everybody streams the games anyways, just so we can make sure they're legit and nobody's cheating and all that kind of stuff. But the community will be able to tune into that and just see and watch and see who's playing well and vote them into the all-star tournament, and then go from there. And then wrapping up the season, there will be season awards. There's going to be an MVP for the season. there will be a defensive player of the year for the season, and there also will be a clutch player of the year. I think those will be the only 3 awards we have, unless again we come to a discussion or get some feedback about some other potential awards. But thinking that those will be the 3 season awards for the season, and then going from there, depending on how many teams will be in the league, 20 to 30 is the goal. That will determine the size of the playoff bracket, and then that one is pretty self-explanatory. Again, it'll mimic what the NBA's looks like. It'll be the best 15 teams or 16 teams get in. They compete all the way down to see who's the best, and the winner will get the cash prize. So that cash prize will be dependent upon what, again, the community is comfortable with paying up front, and then again what the budget allows for the pot to be in total. Again, I'm hoping that we can agree on $15 per team on entry, which if it's 20 teams, that puts the pot at $300. If it's at $30, then that puts it at $600 with 20 teams. If it's 30 teams, and it's looking like more, and then like I said, the rest of it will come out of my own pocket. So it'll be whatever I can afford. But again, it's something that will be discussed and everybody will be in the know of as the season starts to get in place and people start to sign up. And then if there's anybody that comes along that wants to donate and stuff like that, that can be added to the pot as well. And again, that's something that the community and the league will be updated on. Like, hey, we've got a generous donation or a sponsor or whatever that's pushing the pot up to from 600 or from 800, and it's pushed it up to 1,000 or 1,200. So those are things that I'm hoping to be able to get in place and whatnot, and just be able to give out those rewards and those incentives for people to come out, compete, and have fun and play. But if anybody has any concerns, any questions, any feedback, any tweaks or changes, anything that you would like to see, let me know before we get into it. And like I said, just give me what you need, what you want to see, and what's gonna make it fun and what's gonna make it something that you can get behind, because this is something I would love to pull off for the community, and it could be something that's very great for us. So just let me know. Now, before we get out of here, I do want to go ahead and invite you to drop a like on the video if you like the idea. If you think it's going to be something that's going to be fun and something that you're interested in, drop a like. Like I said, comment on the video. Let me know what you think. Give me some feedback. If you want to discuss it even more, I would love to do a Twitter Spaces and invite a bunch of community members and a bunch of content creators out to a Twitter Spaces and have an open conversation, an open forum, and kind of just discuss it, take some notes on some feedback and stuff like that. Or it's, again, we can keep it within the comments of the YouTube video. We can discuss it on Twitter, on the timeline, or you can even come to a Twitch stream while I'm live, or my Discord. You can go anywhere and just give me that feedback. But drop a like on the video, comment, subscribe. Again, follow me on Twitch. I'll put my link for my Twitch, my Twitter, all that in the description. If you've got anything that you got to give some feedback on, please let me know. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.
Would've thought the first time would be the last time. Damn, Granny, you picked the worst time to pass by. Could hit me through FaceTime, said don't waste time. Pin my pants, let and drop 2 bills to dump the state line. Mama got you tatted on my shoulder, you my sunshine.